Call the roll, please.
Tim Raymond.
Here.
Steve Knight.
Here.
Dennis Pelfrey.
Here.
Ronnie Ross.
Here.
Tom Holland.
Here.
Bill Changer.
Here. Dennis, will you lead some prayer?
Let's pray. Heavenly Father, we just thank you for the opportunity to be in the courthouse today, Lord, for the physical court meeting, Lord. Pray you just help us as we make decisions for the county, Lord, and just help them make wisely, Lord, and make them for our people that live here, Lord. And we just pray you just help us use the money you've given us, Lord, and we thank you for it, and just thank you for everything you've given us. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen. Say prayer.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, let's go into department reports. Solid waste, Mitch.
Receipts for March, $52,785.39. Kind of on a bad note, we've got a couple of trucks down right now. We've been doing really good through most of February and March, and then all of a sudden this week, both of them with transmission issues, so it's put us behind, you know, so we gotta have some trucks. The judge and I have been talking about it, so
We're working on it.
we're working on it, and we just asked our customers to bear with us a little bit. And then the spring cleanup is Friday and Saturday, the 25th and 26th of April, 8 to 4. So we're looking forward to that. Everybody usually takes advantage of that in the spring. That's all I had to.
Thank you, Mitch.
Mitch, hard,
I'm tired,
no time.
please.
Road department, Kevin couldn't be here tonight. Me and him and Tyler went to meet with the state today. Affirmed our annual rural secretary. It's on the agenda here. And I got a report today, so the road department's working hard. Of course, they've gone through another flood. We probably got hit as bad or worse on our county roads on this one with this flash flood as we did on the bigger flood there that flooded town. So we just been fighting it the best we can, and we're doing everything we can to get we've had so many roads with breaks and holes and slips and just, you can imagine everything. So they're working hard. We're doing everything we can to get it back in line.
Are we gonna be able to get some FEMA help on that, Steve?
FEMA's in Europe.
No, I got a dab on the pop on there.
They looked at that. We turned several into the state on emergency, so we're doing everything we can. I know Blake's worked hard on them, trying to get to FEMA, and FEMA's in here seems like every day, and then we're, like I said, Craig Lennon's been helping us on writing some of these emergencies up. Tim Truitt here, Tim, our state representative, he's helped us so much on a lot of different things, and I can't thank him enough on what he's done for us here. He's been great. So we appreciate everybody's help. We'll get it back in line. We'll get it back, like I said, we'll be better than we were before, hopefully. Might take a little bit. Ambulance, Captain.
Mark got 110 billable runs, and the court total are 151. Total received with their EMT payments of $73,490.85. Just kind of put in perspective, I know I said that before. Federal government pays us 43% on ambulance run for these small counties, so that's something that, you know, we'll actually going to reach out to Rand Paul's office, going to talk to his representative about that. Some of these larger counties get a little more money, but when we're getting 43% and your insurance paid 90%, it's tough to do anything, so. But that's where we're at on the ambulance.
Y'all talk a little bit about that, the FEMA stuff, maybe a little bit about the possible buyout thing, just kind of get everybody head.
Of course. February flood, you know, it's there 4860. That it's everybody probably knows what's going on with that. We've got DRC starts again on Monday, or disaster recovery center will be at Happy Top from 9 to 7. If you see folks out there that have turned in something and they've been rejected, tell them not to give up, tell them to go back, you know, what they might do is, at the top, it'll say that they've been turned down. And when you go down through that, it'll tell them why, and a lot of folks see that and say, well, I ain't getting that. You'll read down through that, they might just need, something from the judge, or they might, Tom?
I'm on the board at Applered, and there's a whole group of attorneys there that are doing nothing but these field people. So if you get turned down, you do need to contact them
Okay.
and see if you can get them to help.
Okay, and like a lot of it is just like, to explain to me, like if you live on the same piece of property for 4 generations, you might not have the deed in your name or something, but you live, it's just little things like that, so don't tell folks not to give up, they can go back to the DRC, that they can do that again. We're meeting 17th, go back over, some, damage assessments, Frankfurt will be here, so we're gonna try to get some of those, we'll qualify easily enough on the road damage, so that's the last. Go back to the buyout. There's a buyout program, we were not involved in it in 22, because we didn't have that damage in 22, where it was 21. But in 22 is when everybody, I know Perry County, they bought out 85 homes. You know, Jerry State's coming about 85. So now this buyout program, or buyback program is here. It is a FEMA program, same kind of deal, 75%, 12%. 13% for the county, because out there, everybody knows we don't have 13%. We're not going to be able to put that 13% up. But we're looking for funding from the Department of Local Government, and it's been sent to them. I'm sure Rick knows about that. That's been sent over to those folks, and they're going to try to maybe soak up that 13%. Now, we are in the same boat as many other counties. You know, obviously these eastern counties don't have that 13%. So we feel good about that coming. What that means is, these folks need to go in Monday to apply, you know, and what they'll do is, the way it's been explained to me, and I'm no expert on this, but they'll take the PDA cards, you know, you'll look at, and Angie can make that much more, and they'll look at whatever you're paying taxes on, which is obviously probably gonna be less than what your property's worth. So they'll take that, and they've got an equation that they work, and they bump that up to what's closer to right, and then there's another window about $31,000, depending on what hits and how that works, if they can add to that. So a lot of people tell me that the buyout's a pretty good deal. Some are saying it's so-so. I guess depending on who you talk to. But that is a possibility. What happens is, when that does that, it becomes county property, and we would have to go in and tear those buildings down, and there's a very limited things you can do with them. I need to find that out. I really don't know. I know we're parking lot, but some of those, sometimes you can put, you know, pavement, sometimes you can't. It has to be like a pervious type pavement, so, but that's kind of where we're at on that, so.
Who's eligible?
Huh?
Who's eligible?
Well, it's residences and businesses. You know, they're telling us, you know, start out with your residences, but we've got mostly businesses.
What do you, what qualifies for it? If I've got my building up there, what makes me eligible for that buy?
I don't know that, Tom. I know you didn't flood this time, but you did the time before, so I think pretty much everyone in town is eligible.
Yeah.
And you're in the floodplain.
You're in the floodplain.
That's
exactly right.
If you're in the floodplain?
Yeah, you're in the floodplain.
Right.
Oh, yeah, I'm in the floodplain.
It's just it's try to prevent future flooding from happening. A lot of these people don't want to move out of their home place. I understand that. We're from Eastern Kentucky, we know what that means. But it does, if you're not attached to that, it gives you an incentive to move to higher ground. Helps the county, helps the landowner, and hopefully in the long run, even though we're throwing a little bit of money now, may save money in the long run. So that's kind of the plan of it. Eastern Kentucky, or, you know, like Hazard we talked about, over there in Fleming, I mean, they really have changed a lot of their territory by doing this. So, you know, it's obviously up to the landowner. You want to stay right where you're at, nobody's making you move, but it gives you an incentive if you feel like you could flood in the future.
And we will have to contract that work out. That's,
But they have
there's
to
companies that do that.
They have more down.
Yeah, and we will contract with different companies to come in and set up and do the paperwork, the deeds, and all that. So, any questions on that? Judge, you got anything on that? You been involved in that any?
Buyout,
Timer looked at about 18 months, what I heard yesterday.
Yeah, I've got one person's gonna sell their property,
Yeah.
that's all I've got.
What would be the county's way to get the tax money back that they're gonna lose from all these buyouts? They wouldn't have no property tax.
You wouldn't have any, you can't build back on it once it's, so.
It becomes property of the county can't pay taxes to themselves, so how's that gonna benefit the county?
It'd be just the individual.
It's just an individual decision. It ain't let it up to us, it's just an individual decision where they want. Sell or
Well, I
not.
know where you're going, I mean,
That's
there
a
could
good
be a lot of
point.
things you don't
Yeah.
have.
That's a-
I know it would help would be, you know, they built back elsewhere in the county and they still stay here.
Yeah, I thought about
Everybody's not
that.
gonna stay here.
But most businesses are gonna be like me, if I sell mine out, I'm not gonna start, I'm done.
Yeah.
I'm serious, I get ready, I get to an age now where it's.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think they have any concept of what this would do for the economy. Just like Tom just said, they buy his buildings, he's gone. I mean, how is the city and the county going to recoup any losses that they're gonna have?
I'm sure I won't buy anything back.
And what it all comes right down to, the property belongs to the owner, like Tom, you see him.
Yeah.
If he decides to sell out, they'll tear his building down, all the concrete, all the pavement, all gonna come out and come to green space. And people just have to move to higher ground. I mean, that's just what it all comes right to.
All right. But if they're interested, they can start Monday at Happy Top.
Yeah.
Apply up there Monday at Happy Top to, do that. Start the process. Let's see. Corner, Kent here,
I don't know, he asked if I did.
okay, corner's report.
Okay, let's see, it's got, calls for service for this year have been 6 natural cause deaths and 3 fatal overdoses. Of the 3 fatal overdose deaths, toxicology reports have shown excessive amounts of methamphetamine and fentanyl. And Kim says upon speaking with surrounding county coroners, they are also seeing a rise in methamphetamine and fentanyl related deaths.
Well, that's a problem, it's been a problem for a while, it's meth and fentanyl. I don't know the right answer on it. Economic development, Scott, what you got?
I don't have anything, Steve, everything has been put on, sort of on hold for a while, and, I mean, cabinets are still going up, water lines are being extended, but other than that, right there, the factory's not open, there's second line up, employ 30 more people, like I told you last month, and, other than that, that's about what's going on.
Thank you, Scott. Tourism, did you have anything?
We're planning some, trips, there's a big group of Ohio kayakers coming in on, May 10th, and they're inviting the public and area people who wanna join with them, and they wanna donate a portion of the proceeds to the local fund, so that's really nice. We'll do 7 miles on the South Fork River, maybe we're looking at doing like a wildflower hike, and we'll post that. If anybody wants to go into the Pendergrass Murray property that rock climbers own and do a hike around the Mother Lode and take a look at it. And the climbers are here in force, and they've already been building trails to their new property that they've purchased with that 14 miles of cliff line. And we're gonna try to work with the vocational school on getting the kids to build some more kiosks, some information boards, that way we can put local information and get those people down in our area to eat and shop at our restaurants and things. So, but it's picking up.
Thank you, David. All right, notice the record, Magistrates and County Judge received bank balances, financial reports as March 31st, 2025, a copy of the claims adjustment for the March 25 meeting, list of claims for April 25 meeting. Notice the record that I declared April 4th, 2025 as Arbor Day. Notice the record, a copy of the fiscal year 2026 Lee County Jail budget has been provided to the court. All right, Jason Ross, Jason. You wanna go ahead and give you a quick spiel, tell them who you are, and what you're here for?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Thank you. All right, everybody, how you doing? My name is Jason Ross, Public Affairs Specialist for the Small Business Administration, more particularly the Office of Disaster Recovery and Resilience. If you do happen to make your way up to Happy Top starting on Monday to see FEMA, you will see some people in there wearing some stylish blue shirts like the one I'm wearing now, just so you know who those people are and what they do. Let me tell you a little bit about it. So to begin with, a lot of people here at the SBA, Small Business Administration, and assume that we only deal with small businesses, and that's not really the case, particularly when it comes to disaster recovery. A vast majority, the lion's share of the relief that we provide goes to regular old folks, to homeowners and renters, but also businesses and nonprofit organizations as well. We do things a little bit differently than some of the programs that you're familiar with. We do not offer grants. What we do is loans. So we try to fill that gap from where you might not qualify for a grant from different organizations, but you still need funds to recover. However, going to a bank may not be an option, or it may just be too expensive because of the interest rates or the short-term nature of that financing. So what we do is we offer long-term, low-interest, flexible disaster recovery loans. To begin with, we have an option for physical damages for homeowners as well as renters. For a homeowner, that goes all the way up to $500,000 if necessary. For a renter, $100,000. So, whereas a homeowner might have problems, property damages, a renter might just have a tree fall on their car. Okay? The interest rate for this is going to be 2.563%, and it can go as far as 30 years in duration. To put that into perspective, a $25,000 loan at that rate and that term comes out to a little less than $100 a month. All right. The business loans that we do for physical damages is pretty similar, but the interest rate is 3.625 for nonprofit organizations and 4% for businesses. That goes all the way up to $2 million, again, for your physical damages. We also have something called an EIDL loan, EIDL, Economic Injury Disaster Loan. This is for working capital, also goes up to $2 million. The interest rates are the same as I previously mentioned. This is for the intangible things, your lease, your insurance, just operating expenses to keep the lights on and the doors open so that you don't go out of business during the time that you're making the recovery efforts. Whereas the physical damages, that would be more for property itself, machinery, inventory, things like that. We do have something that really seems to get a lot of people's attention that I've noticed since I've been here. We have what we call a mitigation increase. This is based on the verifiable loss amount, not the amount that is actually borrowed. So someone may have $100,000 in damages to their home, but they may have insurance that pays all but $10,000 in deductible. So they're going to go ahead and try to get their grants, because I prefer to have a grant than a loan. I'm not going to lie to you, you know. So we always say do that first. Talk to FEMA, talk to your county organizations, state level organizations. Anywhere you can get a grant, talk to your insurance. If you still need help, come to us. That mitigation increase will be about 20% of the verifiable loss. So again, that $100,000, even if they only borrowed enough for their deductibles, even $10,000, you can get another $20,000 for the purposes of mitigation. What I mean by that is strengthening the business infrastructure or the home so as to prevent a future occurrence. And it does not have to be of a like type disaster. You may have flooding issues now. You could use those funds for changing the grade of your landscape to redirect the water elsewhere, retention walls, sump pumps, raising the utilities off the basement floor. But you could also use it for fireproofing. Anything. Doesn't really matter. It's up to you. Aside from that, just to reiterate, all of our loans can go all the way up to 30 years in term. The first year is 0% interest, and the payments are deferred. The reason that this makes a lot of sense is, for one, we don't want you to wait for your insurance. We want you to start recovery as soon as possible. You don't have to pay back the loan for 12 months, wait till your insurance processes, then pay it off. You got that money early, and it won't cost anything. You're talking about buyouts. times when you're waiting on that process, all right? There is no cost to apply. You don't have to take the loan once it's offered to you. You can just have it in your back pocket. If you decide to use it, it's there. There are no early repayment penalties, and we do not want you to worry about the credit score. We are far more interested in your ability to repay the loan. That's why we make it so long with such a low interest rate, so that it's much more attainable and reasonable for people to actually do. If you want to come see us up at Happy Top starting on Monday, we'll be there. If you want to give us a call, it's 1-800-659-2955, or you can visit us online at sba.gov/disaster. If you have any one-on-one questions you'd like to talk to me about afterward, or right now. Not going to be about my bracket, is it?
No,
Okay.
we've got, let's say we got folks in the county that were not affected by this flood.
Mm-hmm.
What, do you have to be affected by the damage and the flood to get a loan for this event?
Okay, so for right now, what we're dealing with is the declaration that spans from February 14th to March 7th. If there is another declaration coming down, which there probably will be for what happened this week, then that becomes eligible. But that's going to be on a county-by-county basis, and I would ask you about how that's going as far as assessing whether or not the damages reach that level.
Yeah, we will reach that, and the state will reach that.
Okay, excellent.
It's gonna happen. But like if someone that, like I had a lady call me and she's had damage to her home just over time, you know, and she was trying to find things, put new windows in her home, those type of things, but she wasn't affected by this.
Then it would have to be within those dates, and when another
Well, it's
declaration.
happened over 10 years, whatever, so she would not qualify for a small business loan.
It really depends. I'm not a construction assessor.
Right.
One would have to go out there and say, okay, well, you know, perhaps this is just typical wear and tear over time,
Yeah.
but it wasn't damaged to the point where it needed to be until this happened, in which case then it would be fine. But if it was already so severely gone and then the wind kind of just blew off a shingle, that might, it's really going to depend, and it would be on a case-by-case basis, and it would be thoroughly looked at by an assessor. But on the other side of that, the idle loan, if a business is affected,
Yeah.
they do not have to have suffered any physical damages in order to be eligible for that working capital loan. And they don't even really have to be in the area. So for instance, if you have a business that's in a county wasn't declared at all, but it was connecting to this county, it's what we call contiguous, you have enough customer basis that was in Lee County or one of the other declared counties, then you could be eligible for that. An example I often use is a diner on an island off the coast of Florida. Hurricane comes through, the diner miraculously doesn't suffer any damages, but the bridge is gone. 90% reduction in their revenue. That's a perfect example of when they would want to take out an idle loan just to keep things going until that bridge is rebuilt.
Did you say the buyout was only for the people affected by the February? Just the February?
As of right now, they wouldn't have a third of it. This is the
Well,
only one.
no, they did say in that meeting that if you could have, 22, when you didn't, when you didn't want to, you could reapply in this time. But the way I understood was they would give preference to the ones who are affected for this first, but you could apply.
And this new one, I
If you
don't
wanted
know,
to sell it.
could have declared, I don't know if it would be incorporated or not.
Well, pretty much anybody's affected by this, that declaration in this county, the home or business can apply.
Yeah, if you feel like you were affected at all,
I feel like you're affected.
there's no cost to apply. Just come in and talk, find out. I can't say with a broad stroke exactly who would be eligible and who wouldn't be, but it doesn't cost anything to apply. Come in, talk with the representatives, the subject matter experts. A lot of times what happens is you'll talk to FEMA first, and FEMA might say, you know what, you'd be better suited talking to the SBA. They know, that's why we sit next to them. In other cases, it may be something totally different because it's so unique, everybody's situation is so different. But the worst case scenario is it didn't cost you anything. You know?
Yeah.
So think you need it, go in there and find out.
It sounds like a great,
Absolutely, thank you.
great opportunity for people.
It's great.
Appreciate that.
Thank you.
All right. Anybody else need to bring anything forward before we go into the agenda? And you're all on the agenda, Eric. All right. We're gonna start out with, Eric Hubbard of, Back Roads Appalachia, and Tim Truitt here also to discuss Senate Bill 63 and update on the, new project.
Thank you, Judge. Thank you, Magistrates, for allowing me to come and speak tonight. As you know, I did have a conversation. Senate Bill 63 officially became law. At the last minute, before it went to the House, to pass resolution, instead of counties opting out, it was brought to the attention that they'll have to opt in. I'm not going to say what party created that, but here I am today for that reason. Senate Bill 63's purpose is for special use vehicles, side-by-sides, it can be a buggy, it can be whatever. It has to meet minimum requirements, gotta have insurance on it. Go to the sheriff's department, where an inspection will be done for $25. Requirements is brakes, lights, turn signals, the requirements is like a car. Once it passes the sheriff's inspection, they can go to the county clerk, and a $10 yearly fee for registration will be given to that vehicle. Every year, of course, when they go back to renew, they need to verify their insurance before they reissue their license. As an Eastern Kentuckian, Jackson County, and that spends a lot of time in this area, one thing I see with the side-by-side world is that people are doing without insurance on their vehicles. Prime example, I hit an individual, and unfortunately, that individual didn't have insurance on their side-by-side, and it went up to me, it was up to the insurance. And that individual is paying dearly for that now because of that, and the insurance is handling the business of that. This at least gives it a common ground that people's already doing it. It at least gives adequate protection for the off-roader as well as on the highway. It's limited to 20 miles per hour. They're not allowed to be on no interstate or a 20-mile radius. They're not allowed to be on no interstates or any major highways like Mountain Parkway or the Hal Rogers Parkway. It is another economic boom. Today, when we passed a resolution in Jackson County, I did receive a message from a gentleman from Pigeon Forge, Tennessee. It's already been to Owsley, Lee, and Jackson looking for potential purchases for rental properties because of this bill and also the First Frontier Trail system. That's what he does, he invests in lodging for that. So it's another niche that we could have, and his name is Terry Roberts. I did connect it with Zeke, and I'll be more glad to send it to you as well, Judge, for you all for something that can accommodate a new business coming into your county. My job's to bring it, not pick where they go. But the bill was a battle. Senator Storm and our legislators on the Senate side, and also State Representative Tim Truitt and the State House, he unanimously passed by 2, I think, that didn't approve of it, but it was a battle to get it to pass through the floor, and it did work. And I really think this is going to be an economic boom for the area. One thing I want to consider and bring up the attention of the court is that something I've been kind of holding secret is that there's a KRS law from 1970 that the state of Kentucky has reciprocating. Anybody from outside of their neighboring states or anybody from outside of Kentucky can legally bring their side-by-side to the state of Kentucky as long as they're tagged in insurance and can ride on the state highways. The reason why we haven't pushed and promoted that heavily was for the simple fact it's not fair to our Kentucky citizens. So this will make it fair. It's also a cash flow to our sheriff's department and county clerks, but most importantly, it gives opportunities for us to continue to grow. What I like best about it, if they don't have tags on it, besides farm use and agriculture, pull them over, write them a ticket, make them legal. And I think that that's kind of the purpose of this insurance and tagging and following the law is very important. And next, while I'm on this for Senate Bill 63, that kind of leads into rally car racing, and of course it can be next month. I want to bring, of course, attention that the American Rally Association is very interested in Lee County again for this year, first weekend of August. and it is committed to become a national event in 2026. I held it back from being a national event for this year because I feel we need more training before we put that pressure on our local citizens to be able to react and do it at the national level. So, any questions for me?
What is the farm exemption on the side to side, do you know?
Yes, it's totally, if you are ag, just like now, you are totally exempt. There's nothing, that's the one thing that Senator Storm really pushed hard on, is to make sure that the farmers are protected and not in part of this bill. This is for the recreation or the general person traveling.
So there's no limitation, no 2 mile limitation, you
As
just,
far as ag, I do not know that as far.
if you're farming, you just get on the road and go.
Just like you currently do.
Yeah.
If you're gonna use the orange triangle like
Right,
you're supposed
like a
to,
tractor.
if you got that, you are exempt from this. And you don't have, because I'm the same way, I've got a side by side that I use on the farm. I'm not gonna go and put turn signals and a horn and all these things that are required. I'm gonna continue to have my orange flag on there, drive it to the store, get gas if I need to, for farm purposes, those things.
Well, I in my mind, I think mine has just one brake line on the back, and that's the way it come out, and I was trying to figure out how to put turn signals on it.
Well,
Sitting here till you cleared it up.
You can buy a kit for $40, we're talking about it's gonna be on your phone now, because as soon as that law passed, it went crazy on my Facebook.
All those kids were.
Yeah, you can buy one right now and look it up,
I
because they're gonna get money to take it. But, ultimately, I want the court and the people here to know, I never do nothing to jeopardize our citizens. I wanna do it right. I also work inside the state of West Virginia and Ohio. It's not fair for Kentucky citizens not to have the same rights as their neighboring states. And with that being said, it puts us on a level playing ground to compete against West Virginia inside this market. So.
Seems like a lot of counties are already passing this, right? Powell County, Jackson County.
Powell, Jackson, Wolf, has already passed the resolution. Rockcastle County, Senator Storm is with them tonight. There's multiple counties this week, tomorrow, Thursday, they'll be passing a resolution. I have had very little opposition in the conversations I've done. And I think Allen County, of course, I know they gotta go through their court, but I think Monday, I don't think it's gonna be a problem in Allen County. So, it is a way again to make our citizens and our locals and our Kentuckians legal and compliant, and I don't see a problem with that. And the legislators fought hard to make it not a property tax. And I think that's, as we all know, we're taxed to death. I think it's a wonderful thing that I don't have to pay a tax on my side by side and be able to enjoy it, so.
Do you have a figure about how much does it cost to insure one?
Well, my insurance on my side by side is about $320 a year. So,
Another thing we changed in the house is we allowed them to use a motorcycle insurance. So like on your motorcycle, what is on your motorcycle? You've got one.
I got my teeth.
But you're allowed to insure them just like a motorcycle.
I pay, and I tag mine, and that's one thing that I can't wait for July to do. My side by side is tagged in the state of Tennessee. I pay insurance on it because I also have a home in Tennessee. Why is that important? I live in Jackson County. I want to pick up trash in Daniel Boone National Forest. Guess what the park rangers can't do to me? I can go in the National Forest because I am recognized as a street legal vehicle. So I'll be the first in line because I already have turn signals and all that on my side by side to get mine registered inside the state of Kentucky. So, but this is another way, as long as you stay on the trails, on the routes. If you make your own trail, you deserve to get caught. You deserve a ticket. And that's what it's all about is being respectful at the same time creating recreation. Dual sport motorcycles is a prime example. They have the same authority. They can do whatever they want right now, and they're loud and throw a lot of rock and all that too. And it's just another way for the segment. ATVs is not part of this law. They did not, ATVs was not even in the conversation over safety. It does require, again, in the bill, some kind of road cage. And it had to be a legal operation licensed person to be operating that vehicle. So 16 or I guess 15 learners, if your dad and your mommy's with you now, but it does require this like you are registering a vehicle in a car to operate so that I'm looking to.
You got anything to say
The
about that?
the only thing I'll add is I appreciate Eric, because Eric is the one that brings in the Lamborghinis and the, these race cars. But we've known the whole time that in eastern Kentucky, we need, we don't have tobacco no more. We ain't got the coal no more. We need something, and tourism is where it's at. You guys are seeing the effects of that with what the work that Deidre's doing and your tourism committee. And, this is just another avenue for us to make revenue in the city of Bayville. And also, there's gonna be shops open up that's gonna put up these kits for these, these turn signals. There's gonna be, it's gonna help Farm Bureau down here. It's gonna help, our sheriff here. It's gonna, and, it's one of those things that I know anytime we change anything, it's a scary thing. But think about it right now. They're already riding on the roads. How many tickets have you wrote this year for a side-by-side? Not very few. They're already riding them. So let's make them legal. Let's make sure that the people that are driving them, have got them insured, have got them registered, and they're safe. Make sure they're safe. And if they are, let's let them enjoy it. And it's, in Jackson County, I'd love to be able to hop on a trail and make it over here, no problem.
I got a question, I was speaking to the judge earlier. Let's say that Lee County says we're not gonna do this. Jackson County does. They leave Jackson County legal, and they can drive 20 miles.
Sure.
Are they legal at 20 miles through Lee County?
No, that you have that, if you don't pass this resolution.
They would not be.
You have that authority, but out of the stater, there's nothing you can do, so if there's a group of people you're local.
But I just didn't know if that 20 mile was, if they left the legal county to carry into that.
It'd be like a no alcohol, it'd be same thing, a no zone, if you all wanted to keep it that way. Now, but everybody else around you
Could.
is doing it. I mean, they are. I mean, it's one of those things that,
Now, is that a state road or a county road?
Well,
Would
county.
they be legal on a state road?
State and county.
So we have say-so over the state road too?
Well, the count, that's part of the deal, is if you pass a resolution, it gives them the right of way through the state
On the
highways.
state and the county.
Yeah. Yeah, like in Jackson County, I don't know the Lee County's laws right now, everybody can ride legally on county roads in Jackson County. Yeah. So, but again, they're not having insurance on it, so if there's a problem, it ain't really doing a good thing, Last but not least, I did talk with multiple state police on this bill before I even started whispering it to legislators. How's their feelings on this? And, a lot of them told me privately that they don't write me tickets for this reason because they got them too. And, that if there's a way that they could legally tag them and be able to, that they would enforce the law. And, again, we try to follow code and law as best as we possibly can. So.
Thank you, Eric.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Got this as number 3. Let's go ahead and go down to, discuss approved resolution authorizing the operation of street legal special purpose vehicles on designated public roadways in Lee County. We got this resolution from, Powell County, is the resolution that they passed, and it's the exact one, we just, are using it for our purposes, but the resolution's in your packet. I think it's gonna be a good thing. I'm for it myself, so, I think we'll go ahead and pass the resolution. Anybody got any questions, or?
Now, has Wolf County passed it?
Jackson
Jackson
County
County
passed
passed
it.
it. Powell County,
Allen
Essex
County votes next, you win your vote, Z.
We've been voting Monday night on Steve, and, I'm sure my guys will be 100% for it, just to try to get people legal that wants to be legal. If Eric would have came to me and told me this was something we have to push on people, I've been 100% against it. Farmers can still do what they need to do. If you meet a side coming down the road and it hits you, no insurance out, then you will try to pay for it with your insurance. So I figured if we get insurance, home these, they run over somebody's stuff, on the property, tear it up and run over the road, the insurance coverage. And plus, I don't know about you, but we got an insurance tax, so that's gonna give us a little more revenue for the county. And then it's gonna give us revenue for the clerk's office coming in or that. So I'm 100% for it, but it would have been the other way around, I've been 100% against. So, just want to say that I think it'd be a win for everybody.
Seems like everybody's everybody around us is doing it. I think we should go ahead and do it.
I think if all the surrounding counties support after we did
The
it,
state's passed it, I get a motion for it, pass it, Tim made the motion,
I'll second.
Dino second, all in favor? Aye. Is anybody opposed? Motion carried. All right, let's go with approved minutes from, March 13th, 2025 meeting. Say the minutes is there, and I get a motion to approve those.
make the motion.
Kimbo made the motion, Rodney seconded, all in favor?
Aye.
Anybody opposed? I know you had to go, Tim, but
I will tell you right quick, right before we left, we threw in $170 million into the EK savings funds. All right, there was already $30 million left over from the western and eastern Kentucky, so another 170 puts it up to 200. Now, will that fix everything in eastern Kentucky that got affected by the floods? No, it will not, but it will be a big help until FEMA comes through with their funds, and that's what that money is designed for. Got some needs that need to be done, and you've got a great EM director. He's real close to the main guy who will help, who is the guy that we need to help, reach out to. Eric does a wonderful job. He'll take care of Lee County for us. Just make sure you're taking pictures. I know Blake is, of all of our issues that we've had, and we'll make sure that we keep continuing, and we've got to think outside the box. You know, we've had floods since 2023, I think. And it's, more than likely it's going to continue. So we've got to start thinking outside the box on what we can do to prevent the damage. And we're already talking about some different things. Moving some buildings up higher ground, different things like that. And I know that's not always a welcome sign, but if you own a business down here in town, you're not wanting to get it flooded every year, 3 times a year. So hopefully we can get the money there to kind of help some of this stuff move along. We don't want to change our culture, we don't want to change our location, but we may have to start doing some things a little different to maybe help some of this flood waters. And just know I'm there to help you any way I can, but I want to tell you, we do have the money there. We put it in on that last day, and now that the ball's already rolling, you said you met with them when? Today?
well, we put the application in today.
Okay, good. Put the application in today, so got the ball rolling. Hopefully we'll hear something back soon. But we put the money there so that we could start immediately on building back some of these things. And obviously we're gonna try to get the county all the help we can on some of these roads. And we'll just keep doing all we can. But I appreciate what you guys do. And
Thank you, Dan, we appreciate you, buddy.
all right, y'all take care.
Thanks, Dan.
See ya.
Dan's been great, he's helped us tremendously through this. I tell you what, I couldn't ask for no better help.
You can't go wrong with anybody named Tim. I may have to eat them.
All right, let's see, you're approving it. All right. Approved state recommendations for 2025-26 rural secondary, and this, like I said, me and Kevin Tyler went up today to the meeting, and you should have it in your packet there, what the recommendations are. I'll have to look at. Okay. Yeah, 2016 there at Big Andy, and then the, you see right there, the state maintenance there at the, again, the state maintenance junction, little sinking creek. So it's 478,000 there, county road allotments, 187,764. And this is just, we just do this every year. They just have to have this passed, and we passed it.
Make a motion.
Dino made the motion, I give a second. Dan a second, all in favor? Anybody opposed? I forgot something here, we need to, senior citizens requested they are, want to take a little trip, and then we've got the senior games, they want to buy shirts and this and that. They asked for a $1,000 donation, I think we should give it to them to help them out there.
I'll make a motion.
Dino made the motion, I Rodney seconded, all in favor? Anybody opposed? senior citizens.
No, who's number one? Who?
Dino made the motion, Rodney second. Approve Sheriff Joe Lucas first quarter 2025 budget quarterly report. Any questions, can I get a motion? Dennis made the motion.
Second.
Dino seconded, all in favor? Anybody opposed? Approve County Clerk Kim Knowles first quarter 2025 budget quarterly report. Same thing right
I will say that, I know when we ended 24, we were down. But so far this year, we're about 47,000.
there. Good.
Make the motion.
Timbo made the motion, Rodney seconded, all in favor? Anybody opposed? Approve Lee County Sheriff Joe Lucas application of resolution for the LEPP grant funds for 12 new tasers and cartridges for department use, and this grant, that's a fully funded grant, ain't it, Sheriff?
Make the motion.
Dino made the motion on that.
Second.
Tim second, all in favor? Anybody opposed? Approve second reading of adoption of budget amendment number 3. Pearl, do you need
That was just bringing the surpluses that we had in last fiscal court meeting. We did first reading, that this is just the second to make it complete.
Make the motion.
Tim made the motion,
Second.
Dino second, all in favor? Anybody opposed? Approve second reading of ordinance 2025-001, approving financing a road fund loan from Cape-Cola 9475 and contingent on necessity, so we only use this if it's necessary, and hopefully we'll get some money here, and may not be necessary, but we'll have it if we need it. Rodney made the motion. Then a second, all in favor? Anybody opposed? Discuss approve J.M. Woods Mack Trucks auction agreement. Auction set for June the 10th to the 12th, 2025, and I guess the agreement's unfolded. Agreement's unfolded. We do this every year. It's just a Mack truck. We go sell them, it's just the agreement, same as always.
Don't sell them, buy 2 new.
Buy 2 new ones, sell them, buy 2 new ones. Rodney made the motion.
I'll say it.
Tim second, all in favor? Anybody opposed? Okay, approve rental lease agreement between Lee County Fiscal Court and Livelihoods Knowledge Exchange Network. That is the name here, right?
Yep, that's it.
A 1-year lease for the office space formerly occupied by the 911 center at Happy Top Community Center at $570 a month. I know we talked about this at $500, but they're gonna pay the internet too, so that's what we'll be paying, but they're reimbursing us for it with the extra 70. So that's where the $570 comes into place. And that's, them renting that out, I know we talked about it a little bit there, but it puts somebody up there, it gives us some income too. It helps them too, it'll help Lee County. So I think it's a good thing. It's the one, Dennis made the motion.
I'll say it.
Tim second, all in favor? Anybody opposed?
Thank you, guys.
There you go.
I appreciate that.
Approve Kenneth Lewis transfer to 911 certified dispatch operator effective 3/27/25 at 14 hourly wage. Kenneth will remain the EMT for Lee County Ambulance Service, but he's transferring over to 911 also to help with the dispatcher. He's certified. He's Blake.
Make the motion.
Tim made the motion.
Second.
Dino second, all in favor? Anybody opposed? Approve Lee County Animal Control Officer Henry Crawford. Want to give him $1 pay increase, effective March 27, making his hourly wage $14 an hour. He works hard and does a great job. Dennis made the motion.
He's top second.
Dino second, he is.
Aye.
Dennis made the motion, Dino second, all in favor? Anybody opposed?
Yeah.
Approve Lee County Search and Rescue to obtain USDA grant application for a UTV vehicle to assist in all terrain recovery. Fiscal court obligations 1% of that vehicle. We've also added some money in what we applied for maybe to help with that. So but just 1% even if we didn't get any money, which I feel comfortable going to.
Make a motion.
Dino made the motion, Tim second, all in favor? Anybody opposed?
Did they get rid of old Amphibian that?
They've already, it's on those deals right now.
Is not there?
It'll start tomorrow. The auction starts tomorrow. Yeah, so we're trying to.
Discuss approved transfer, Pearl.
They're in your folder, there were transfers, there are quite a few, but they're just transfers within different line items to make the bills.
Make a motion.
Dino made that motion, Rodney second, all in favor? Anybody opposed? All right, need my good buddy to make a motion.
I'll make a motion, we adjourn.
Dino made the motion, we adjourn, Dana second, all in favor? Anybody opposed? Thank y'all for coming.